My 30F spouse, 35M, has been acting incredibly strange. Do I need to help him, or do I need to escape? Sorry about formatting, I'm on mobile, and I'm really shaken up as I write this. My 30F spouse, 35M, has been experiencing behavior that has only become increasingly concerning. In the past 2 months now, he has been talking about things that he claims are happening, but he's never mentioned before. As some background info, when his behavior first started getting concerning, I managed to convince him to go to the hospital to get checked out for his mental health. He wasn't even seen by a doctor, and he was told he just needs to take a certain medicine to help him sleep. The issue is he also smokes weed, so this medicine does not mix well with that. He won't quit smoking. We also have 2 very young kids. Back to the weird recent behavior, he claims he had an old email with an inheritance that got hacked, and he needs access to it. I tried helping him get on it, but he hasn't used it in literally the 12 years we've been together. I only knew of its existence previously when I helped him switch his Facebook login, and that was an email attached. Another example is that he believes everyone is talking about him to me, and everyone else, I mean literally everyone else. He thinks there's some sort big thing planned to hurt him, or do something horrible to him soon, and that we're all on it. On a few other separate occasions, he's asked about a show that we're on, and asked how much money I'm being paid to keep a secret. He also thinks I'm having secret phone calls, and that I've apparently left the room to accept these calls, which then results in me coming back crying about something I've apparently discussed on the phone. Whenever I try to explain to him that none of this is happening, he fights back saying that I'm just lying to him and to tell him the truth. That I need to tell him the truth or something bad is going to happen. It's gotten so bad, he ended up getting fired from his job because he was barely showing up. He kept going to the cop station to make a report instead of going to work. After he got fired, there was some sort of tense situation where they ended up calling a wellness check for him because they were afraid he's going to come back and hurt someone. The cops showed up while I was also home, and he said he wouldn't hurt someone, he only acts in defense. In the recent weeks, he's gone from screaming at me demanding answers to just not talking to me at all. At this point, I'd rather he just not interact with me. The reason I'm writing this is because of what happened today. It was a nice day out, and I asked if he would come with me for a walk with our kids, to which he agreed to. He barely spoke a word to me or the kids on this walk, and when we came across a playground, I asked if we should take the kids there for a few minutes of play. He then got upset at me for suggesting it and said I always control everything, and I'm the queen of the decisions. I didn't even tell him we were doing that, I just asked. When I mentioned this, he just said, "Do whatever you want, like always," so I figured why not? So I played with the kids at the playground and he did his own thing. Someone left a couple various balls there, and he was throwing them around. He then picked up the football and threw it in my direction. It flew past me a couple feet from me. I asked why he did that, and he said, "Why are you upset? It didn't hit you," to which I responded, "Well, what if it did?" He then said, "If I wanted it to hit you in the head, I would have thrown it that way." Then he started on a rant about how he's going through the same thing with everyone lying to him. After which, he sat down in the corner of the park and was doing literally nothing. I was getting upset, so I packed up the kids and started walking to leave the park. I said to him, "We're going home," and started walking away. Apparently he tried to yell out to us, but ended up taking a different way home than we did. He told me this when he met me on the street when we were almost home, saying that next time I want to be an idiot and walk away, maybe stop and listen for him calling out. I didn't hear him, but honestly he could have easily caught up to us. I was getting more and more upset, and said I wanted to go for a drive to get coffee, and he said fine. I said I wanted to take the kids, and he asked why. Then I said fine, you stay home with them, and he said no, they can go with you, and started putting them in the car. I got in the car, and he got in the passenger seat, to which I asked him if he's coming with. He said yes, and to drive. I told him I didn't want him coming with because he's being mean, and he said he could be a lot meaner. As I started driving away, he kept going off on the usual BS he's been talking about lately, and I told him I don't want to hear it. He started screaming at me to keep driving and shut the fuck up. I stopped the car and told him to get out, and he made a motion like he was going to punch me, but punched his hand in front of my face. At this point I started crying and yelling at him to get out, and he yelled back, "No, just drive." I then said I should just drive him to the police station for that, and he said he would choke me unconscious before we even got there. I was crying even more at this point and said I don't want to be with him anymore and I want him out. He said no. He continued to be a dick for the rest of the car ride, where I pleaded with him to not treat me this way, especially in front of our children. It's not fair to them or to me. He said to not bring them into this. I said how couldn't I? They are literally in the car. Anyway, after I drove us home, he asked how long I've been waiting to break up with him and who I'm replacing him with. I told him I haven't been and there's no one else, which of course he doesn't believe. When he got inside, he even taunted me saying, "I should take you to the cop station," in a girly voice. He's outside smoking and I'm inside with the kids writing this. Of course I'm shook up currently, but I don't know what to do. We only have the one vehicle which is in both our names. The place we rent is actually my mom's, so we don't have a lease, but we both have our addresses attached to this place on our licenses. He wasn't always like this. Literally only the past couple months his behavior has been this bad. I miss the person he used to be. I miss that he would spend time with me, with the kids, but he spends all his time by himself now. I don't know if he's going through some sort of manic episode or what's triggering this change in behavior, but I really don't know what to do. Is there something differently I can do to help him? Every time he talks to me about whatever situation, he doesn't accept any answer I say, and also won't accept if I say nothing. Edit. I just wanted to update and let you all know we are safe. I'm sorry for not saying anything sooner. I'm a bit overwhelmed with how popular this post got, and will give an actual update later. Thank you for the advice and comments as well. I will mention a couple things. We are not in the US. Where we are, marijuana is legal, so my spouse does get it from government-run dispensaries. I don't think there's a chance his stuff gets laced aside from the fact he mixes cigarettes with it. A lot of people mentioned meth. There is just no way. He doesn't go anywhere random, he doesn't talk to people outside of our household, aside from the few times he would go to the police station. I have his location on his phone so I can see where he goes when he leaves. Relevant comments. Mr. Bezo, I just want to say, I was that terrified kid in the backseat. Absolutely traumatizing. My mom always came up with an excuse as to why we couldn't leave the house or leave Dad. Made me suffer for many years of my life, and I'm 28 years old trying to deal with the trauma it has given me. Please stop making excuses and leave. Get out for the kids. My mom never did, and it truly has ruined my mental health. Cora Cricket, while this is way more urgent than everyone seems to be acting. Are you able to sneak yourself and your kids out right now while he's smoking? You could start by going to the police station and telling them what's going on. They should hopefully be able to connect you to resources for families fleeing domestic abuse. If you have someone you can stay with, then that makes it easier, but either way, do not spend another night in that house with him, and definitely don't let your kids around him unsupervised. If you can't sneak out, I would call 911, tell them what just happened and about his threats, and that you need to get out, but that you are afraid for you and your children's safety. They are not always the most helpful, but something needs to happen. At least then, if he comes back in and tries to do something to you, you'll be in the phone with them, and they can send someone then. Might be a good strategy while you're leaving too if you're worried he might catch you. It sounds like he's having some kind of psychological break. The paranoia and being convinced everyone is part of some conspiracy against him is not abnormal there. But he has clearly told you that he is a danger to you, so you need to worry about that first. Get yourself and your kids to safety and figure the rest out after that. Once it's time to deal with him and his situation, depending on where you are, getting him involuntarily detained for psychiatric treatment requires proving he's a danger to himself or others, so at least you can show how he's threatened you. But worry about that after you and your kids are safely away from him. Daddy Tywin, heavy cannabis use can trigger the onset of schizophrenia in people who are already susceptible. Your H is right about the age where this tends to happen in men. I am not a doctor, but I really think this is a mental health emergency, either due to a drug interaction, drug use itself, or because he is rapidly developing a psychotic disorder. You need to see a mental health professional, not the and describe all of this behavior to them, including the frequency of his marijuana use. OP, that's the thing. He saw a crisis nurse at the hospital, and a therapist/social worker there, and I felt like the only thing they tried to do was get him to take a specific medication. I think it's called quetiapine or something. But anyway, I don't think he is regularly taking it, and if he is, he definitely shouldn't be mixing it with smoking weed. Daddy Tywin, that's the generic for Seroquel, which is actually an antipsychotic medication used for schizophrenia and bipolar I episodes. That makes way more sense to be prescribed than a sleeping pill. You're right though, he needs to be taking it as RxD bottle should have the dosing on it. I looked up the drug interactions and the ones listed are moderate and mostly physical, although generally people with any kind of psychotic disorder, I think, are not supposed to use marijuana. Mama Odie, just call the police for assistance to leave. If you have somewhere to go, it's that easy. I've done it. He'll put a good front on, but you need to tell them you are in fear of your life because he threatened to strangle you. You can't wallow and be a scary baby. Not in front of your kids. He traumatized them enough. You can also have him removed for the threats on your life, and you can change locks. Do not let another day pass in this. Update. Hello, first of all, thank you all for the comments, messages, etc. on my previous post. Obviously it got a bit too much to keep up with responding, but I just want to say I really appreciate the help. A TLDR at the bottom. To give an update, I left the house the night I made the post, but went back home the following day. I wanted to be able to collect some sort of evidence I could use, because my spouse has been really good at downplaying his symptoms to any authority figure. I want to mention that I had been present at most doctor and hospital visits prior, so I know what they did recommend for him. I felt at the time that they did not give him enough help for the crisis he was obviously going through. Anyway, continuing on, the couple days after the Sunday post, he did not really engage in much conversation with me or our children. Every time he entered the room, I set my phone to record. I did not get anything until Thursday, when he finally started talking to me again. He was questioning who I have been talking to about him, and who has been trying to sabotage his life. Obviously, I denied everything, because there is no one talking to me about him, aside from this Reddit post, which he didn't know about. This started to anger him, which included him yelling at me, and saying if anyone is talking to me about him, to bring him to the house so he can take care of them himself. I tried to not to engage anymore. This made him more upset, as he was continuing to demand answers from me. He would then say, "Oh, I want to hit you," or "Don't make me slap you," when I was either not answering or just saying I didn't know what he was talking about. I got this on recording. After he ended up walking away and leaving the room, I took the kids to bed, locked us in our room and tried to sleep. The following morning, he insisted on driving me to work. I told him I wanted the car, to which he disagreed with me and said he needed it. After dropping our kids off, he started going off on me about how I am stupidity, dumb, a bitch, etc., for keeping his inheritance, again something he is clearly having delusions about, from him. I tried to disengage completely, keeping myself to far side of the passenger seat, which caused him to grab me by the back of my neck and pull me closer to him, where he told me to listen to him. I obviously reacted to this and was super upset, telling him to please focus on driving and not touch me again. After he drove me to work, the last thing I said to him, as he was still going off on me with the car window open, was, "You desperately need help." Once I got in, I called my boss and let her know what happened. She came in, canceled her appointments for the day, and took me to the police station. We made a report. Although the sergeant we initially spoke to seemed to be against us making a report, he kept saying he will be homeless if I report him, like he's the victim in this scenario. I told him my safety, and the kids' safety should be more important, and he brought in a different officer to make the statement with me. Once I completed that statement, they let me know to stay away from the house as they were going to arrest him, and we'll call once he's out of the house. About 5 hours later, he was arrested. Apparently, he was very compliant, and with all the information I provided, they actually took him to the hospital, and he is currently on a 30-day psychiatric hold. He will be going to court at some point for uttering threats and assault, but seeing how he doesn't have a criminal record, I'm sure it will just end up being a slap on the wrist. So, as of now, I am home, safe with the children, and we are getting our locks changed. I will also most likely get a protection order, but in an ideal world, he gets better, and that's not necessary. I guess we will see in the future. I want to again thank everyone for their comments and assistance. A lot of you made some excellent points, and although I know some of my decisions probably seemed like dumb ones, I was trying to figure out the best solution logistically for us. Any other future updates will be on my profile. TLDR, he was arrested yesterday and put on a psych hold. I'm okay physically but not emotionally. Relevant comments. Sickanat, I swear to God, fuck the police and that sergeant trying to talk you out of it. Gee, I really wonder why she doesn't go to the police. What a mystery. Good luck, op. Saturate regulated. I dealt with something similar, but thankfully not with a romantic partner, and we shared no assets or children. It was terrifying, and I still am affected by it daily. My friend ended up being diagnosed as schizoaffective disorder, paranoid schizophrenia. He did really well on meds. Actually, so well that he stopped believing he had an issue and stopped taking the meds. His latest bout of mania legitimately scared me and I had to remove myself. Your husband is starting a very long road, and a lot of mentally ill people struggle with keeping straight down that long road. I'm not saying you should remove him from your life, but I am saying you have the best chance of healing and raising unaffected adults if you do remove him. Your love for him and the family you've built cannot sustain mental illness, and love is not all you need. Sometimes it becomes way bigger than you, and the kindest thing you can do is bow out. I'm really sorry you're all in this situation. Shame the devil, paranoid schizophrenia runs in my family. The problem with your husband is that he's already become more violent, and it will likely get worse if you let him return to the home. I've seen family members get better on medication, only to make the decision to stop medicating BC. They no longer believe they were ill. Over and over and over. I have also seen them act normally in front of others, which made it difficult to even get them help in the first place. One of my family members attempted to murder their caregivers. They almost succeeded. Another attempted to murder a person they thought was real, but who was actually a hallucination. You are not safe. Your children are not safe. And you are not taking this seriously enough. Raise air, set fires. I'm very proud of you for taking the first step towards a new healthy life for your kids and yourself. To continue on this path, you need to quit hoping for the best and start preparing for the worst. It's a long road, but you've shown the intelligence and fortitude to successfully see this through. That being said, I'm going to have to stress to you that he's not going to get better in 30 days. Get that restraining order ASAP. One reason is he will be served while in custody, instead of you having to track him down to serve him. Second reason, they look at how quickly you do these things when he goes to court for the charge. It shows you are actually going to follow through and the seriousness of your situation. Third reason is he is more likely to be charged for DV and threats. Fourth reason is it will usually make custody and separation move faster. This is one of those situations where shit in one hand and hope he miraculously becomes mentally healthy in 30 days in the other, which fills up quicker. Good luck, and don't stray from your path to safety and happiness. OOP, thank you. It's definitely wishful thinking that he will get the treatment needed to go back to normal. I don't want to think of this as the end of our relationship, but at the same time, I don't know if he would want to be back with me since I got him detained. Right now, the only thing I'm thinking about are the kids. Uniq 805. Make sure as soon as the protection order is in place to let the school know that he isn't allowed to take the kids out. Find a therapy place for you and the kids and have them help you explain to them that it's not safe to talk to dad at the moment. That way he won't try to get his revenge through them. And good for you. And you're right, him ending up homeless is not your concern. OOP, they are toddlers, so a bit too young to understand. Their daycare is aware as well. Uniq 805. I work in a daycare, and unless we have a restraining order on paper of the other parent shows up, we have to release their child to them. There's nothing we can do. And children are smarter than you give them credit for. Just because they can't say everything doesn't mean they don't notice everything. Emma 5382. I think something to note is to keep a close eye on your kids in their early 20s and teach them the signs. It could be hereditary, but with enough foreknowledge can be caught early and treated. MCOM, I too dealt with something similar. Use this time to get the divorce started. Have a plan. When the 30-day hold is up, you will get immense pressure from doctors, social workers, and family to take him back. Repeat variations. I do not feel safe with him on the home. I fear for my safety when he is around, over and over. They will try to convince me he's fine because they can't release him without somewhere to go. Use this time to get legal advice. Use an attorney with experience with mentally ill spouses. Try and get a restraining order for you and the kids. I know you have a lot going on. You have to act. Our first time my ex was hospitalized, I listened and took him back. He was livid and blamed me for what happened to him. The second time he was hospitalized, I was lucky to walk away with my life. Act now. You have kids to think about. OP, thank you for the advice and comments as well. AITA for telling my vegan friend who doesn't drink I'm tired of catering to her choices. My 50th friend Lauren, a 46, is a vegan who doesn't drink. That's awesome and I have no issue with that. The problem is that she is part of a small group of friends who don't get out very often, but when we do, it always has to be limited due to Lauren's choices. We live in an area where our food choices suck to begin with, so having to go to eat where she can be satisfied is very limited. There really isn't much to do otherwise at night. In addition, she gets upset when any one of us eats something that has an obvious meat to it. For example, she doesn't say anything if we get a soup with chicken or something, but if we ordered a hamburger she would cause drama. Then she doesn't drink, which is no big deal, but she will then send us videos on the harmful effects of alcohol if we get a drink or two with dinner. It has gotten on my nerves, to say the least. It's been a while now, so I am done with everyone catering to her needs. I've tried inviting everyone to specific places and invite Lauren as well. Then she puts into a group chat, "Hey ladies, since I can't eat at X, why don't we go to Y?" Then of course the other ones decide we should go to Y instead. I have backed off of going out because I don't want to spend money on food that sucks. Remember, it's vegan, not vegetarian, so it's very limiting, and is expensive, or have my intelligence questioned by sending shit about the effects of alcohol, as if we are not beyond old enough to know or Google it. I barely drink anyway, but enjoy a glass or two every so often. She asked why I keep bailing, so I told her, I respect your choices, but by the very nature of them they have limited mine. Being that I don't have the ability to go out often nor unlimited funds, I am only going to go when I know the entire experience will be what I want. So, if I am in the mood for a steak and a vodka tonic, I want to have them in a relaxed atmosphere, and that obviously bugs you. If I'm in the mood for a salad and water, I will gladly join you or we can just hang out at the beach when we have time during the day. She didn't like that too much. She said that isn't what friendship is about, and I should enjoy the company enough not to care. I told her that I understood and I would gladly hang out with her when food or drink isn't in question, because it's too expensive not to enjoy it. She said that there is nothing else to do around here. Then I asked if it's just about friends, then maybe she can eat first and join us out sometimes, and other times we can go to where she wants. She then told me that she's not going to sit around watching people eat meat. I said, okay, I get it, and you need to get that I'm not catering to your needs each time I'm free to hang out. I later got a text from a mutual friend that Lauren was upset, but she agreed with me because she was tired of the same shit. Of course this friend doesn't like conflict, so just listened to Lauren. So, for not wanting to continue to eat food I don't like or refrain from having a drink or two to keep the peace here, or am I right in feeling like she's being selfish expecting the rest of us to do what she's comfortable with each time? Relevant comments. Low Rasmatas 666, NTA, but drop the friends that don't like co and fly CT. Why surround yourself with spineless morons? OOP, true. It was all getting on my nerves and why I was happy not going anymore. However, I sometimes wonder if I am an asshole when others just easily bend to other people. I appreciate that. Okay, understanding 872, NTA, Lauren is an ass though. The condescending comments about meat and alcohol is beyond to me. OP, the alcohol really pissed me off. It was such a self-righteous type of behavior to me. Karma 1969, NTA. She's exactly right, that isn't what friendship is about, and so why can't she enjoy hanging out with her friends who are allowed to eat and drink whatever they want, while she eats and drinks what she wants? I'm sorry, there's probably not a great ending here, but the way she's framed the situation can easily be turned around back on her, so she's not right. Neither is she wrong. It just may be that you two are incompatible as friends. OP, yes, I'm feeling we are not a good fit. To be honest, I am working hard on setting boundaries, but sometimes I question if I'm not going overboard, especially when many other women my age seem to just go along with something. I felt like she was being extremely selfish, but thought I could be missing something, and why I asked. OP on if she had a problem with Lauren being a vegan and doesn't drink. OOP, no. The problem is that I'm expected to become a vegan and not drink in her presence. I don't care what she does, but she cares what I do, and the other women as well. OP on the food choices in the area. OOP, nice try. I live in a small beach town. There is shitty food to begin with, so the options are extremely limited here. So I can't tell you how many salads I have been limited to eating while going out with her. There is no solely vegan restaurants and very few that have vegan options. She doesn't make it worthwhile to listen to negativity to get what you actually want, so that leaves fucking salad. So you just because you misinterpret what I meant or assume the worst in people doesn't mean you are right. Fucking fame? Seriously. Damn. I thought my life was pretty lame just asking this question, and to think someone thinks I'd actually make this shit up. Update on my selfish, vegan ex-friend. Thank you so much to the countless people who commented on my post shown below. You made me realize that I wasn't an and shouldn't have put up with her BS. Many asked how I put up with it for so long. I don't have a good answer, but it was more about the group itself where I didn't want to create drama. My experience with friends have been lucky, as most everyone has been loving, fun, and selfless. We can also call each other out on BS by busting chops and laugh. This was my first group, who met semi-regularly, and the others are very sweet to where I felt uncomfortable rocking the boat. Anyway, yesterday it was a bazillion degrees out here in Florida, and I was playing tennis with Lauren and two others. We were dying. I don't normally play with her, but these women are all on my team I joined coming up in the fall, so we needed to start practicing. No, I did not join because of Lauren. Lol. I've played against the other two throughout the years, and they have been asking for me to play for a long time now. I live in a small area, so it's common for circles mixing like this. One of the ladies had to stop due to dizziness, cramping, and nausea. We all decided that we should only play much earlier in the summer. Except of course Lauren, who didn't want to wake up early because she said she doesn't play well then. That's when I had it. With the power of thousands of random Reddit strangers in my head, I basically told her off. I told her I've never met someone so self-absorbed in my entire life, and it was disgusting that she would even think that way in front of a teammate who clearly had heat exhaustion, let alone have it come out of her mouth. I said all this while her ass is sitting down while the other woman and I got a cold wet towel for this woman and getting her to drink. Lauren stormed off. These other two thanked me. One was her usual partner, who is the sweetest person alive and said she has been wanting to tell her off for a year now. The other one who was feeling like shit said, she's going to tell the captain that she needs to go because she's like a cancer on the team. I'm very happy to say that I will not be dealing with her selfish BS any longer. She can go shove a carrot up her ass for all I care. Lol. Thanks so much everyone. Tonight I'm going to have a giant hamburger and a cold beverage in your honor. Cheers. Relevant comments. OOP not respecting Lauren's wishes and trying to make this whole thing about herself and not Lauren. OP. I did say something and suggested other things. She wasn't having it. I wasn't pouting. We are busy and have lives, so this isn't the end of the world and I was quite happy with that choice. I kindly told her my feelings and she told me I wasn't being a good friend because it isn't about the food. So then why do we have to eat her shit every time then? I wasn't hurt over the videos. It was fucked up to cross others' boundaries like that, as she was some self-righteous queen of health. She's controlling as thousands have pointed out. That should be clear with her not budging on playing in the mornings after her teammate got sick from the heat. I spoke with her already calmly and nicely. She never budged and only expected me to continue to bend to her needs, inferring I was not a good friend. I still ended that conversation in a respectful manner to then learn she goes to a mutual friend to bitch about me. It was after the above that I felt she was extremely selfish, but I still wasn't sure because she turned it around on me. That's why I came here to Reddit. I didn't go off on her about the food. I went off on her because there was a woman about to throw up due to extreme heat. While another woman and myself were trying to cool her down and make sure she was okay, Lauren made it again about her. She sat there bitching about not wanting to play earlier. BC, she doesn't play good early in the morning. BTW, that is complete bullshit because the matches start early in the mornings and she's played on this league for many years. I'm sorry, but you must be extremely infuriating to anyone who needs your help and needs you to listen. You fill in gaps to stories that don't exist. You assume what people are feeling and why they have done certain things, and then come across in a very pompous manner that you are correct. Yes, you are absolutely correct to the shit you literally made up in your head. However, you are very far off from what happened with me, how I felt, and why I acted the way I did.